Hey guys, Vincent back with another video for Tails Coffee. Today, I wanted to show everybody how I dial in a new coffee. Well, today's a great day to show you guys because I recently roasted a brand new coffee and it's called the Honey Swirl. Now, this coffee is a coffee from Colombia. It's a wash process and I've cupped it, but I have not brewed with it yet. So let's actually brew this coffee together and I'm gonna show you guys how I maximize my technique for this coffee. So before we get into the video, I just wanted to thank everybody for all the support we've been receiving. As of right now, we just hit 2,000 subscribers, so thank you everybody. Remember, if you guys like our videos and like our content, please subscribe to us. And if you like the videos, like it and leave a question if you guys have any questions. So let's get right into the brewing process. Today's coffee is actually a Honey Swirl. I'm also a roaster from Vancouver. We roast our own coffees. This is a coffee that I actually roasted because it's our friend's wedding. And we thought that would be kind of cool if she could give away a coffee that represented her to all of her friends. So we created a Honey Swirl because we thought she is a very sweet, bright, happy person. So the coffee's a little bit lighter, has like a nice honey flavor, a nice vanilla, and like it finishes with a black tea, kind of like chocolatey flavor. So I hope all of her friends like this. And if you guys want to try, pick up a bag yourself and let's see if we can have the same flavor. Hey guys, Vincent from the future here. You know, when I was editing the video, I noticed that I didn't explain to everybody exactly what dialing the coffee means. Dialing in a coffee means I'm gonna figure out how I change my brew technique to match the expectations of the coffees. And so it's like maximizing the flavor potential of the coffees with my brew technique. So that's what dialing a coffee means. So how I dial in my coffees, I start with a standard technique. My standard technique is 20 grams of beans, 300 grams of water. It's a 1:15 ratio, 91-degree water temperature. And we just do a simple pour. Start slow, go medium speed, and just all the way to the end, we just kind of stay at that medium speed. And we're gonna see what it takes, how long it takes, and we're gonna look at what color, how much gas is, and from there, we're gonna be able to make the necessary adjustments to make it a better brew. So for the brew, I've already preheated my dripper. I've got the decanter underneath. We've got our scale. Here's our grinds, if you guys wanna take a look. It doesn't have a lot of chaff in it. It's nice and clean. Fines, the grind size is more towards like a medium fine. As always, I've got my trusty chopstick and our water is right over here. I wanted to let everybody know that in my kettle, this is a 1-liter kettle. It can be pretty heavy if you fill it all the way up. So I actually have it filled to about 40% right now. And this is because if I fill it to all the way to the top or have it higher, you're pouring from a much higher height, your stream doesn't look as nice. At a lower rate, you're gonna have it from closer and it's gonna be pouring at more of an angle, which allows you to push a little bit more. So yeah, pouring from your pouring height could matter quite a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna show everybody how it goes. We're gonna tap that out. We've got ourselves, we're a little bit short. We're 19.6, 19.7. So it's still gonna be 300 grams of water. We're going to start by, just as always, making that little divot and giving a quick tap. So what we're gonna be looking for is like the color and the amount of gases and the amount of floaters of the coffee beans we have. And yeah, so let's get right into the brew. I'm gonna show everybody and I'm gonna talk everybody through how I like to do my coffees. Or we're gonna observe it together, sorry. So we're gonna start in the middle, nice and slow. You can see already there's a little bit of gases coming out. We're gonna just stay in the middle and stay slow. You can already see that there's a little bit of the gases coming out. The color, you can see in the middle is quite pale. There's a little bit more darker kind of crema coming out right now, but honestly not that much. This is speaking from experience, by the way. You can see that all the grinds are cracking. There's a little bit higher on this side, so we're gonna just push outwards now. And once we get to the rim, we do a flush finish and just pour down the side. Once we're done pouring, oops. A little bit over, but it's okay. We're gonna give it a quick stir, and we're gonna talk about this. You can see that throughout the brew, there wasn't a lot of gases, not a lot of large gases. You can already start to see the color of the coffee showing through. The crema is not very thick. That just means that this texture is not very thick. It's gonna be a little bit of a lighter texture. You can already see a lot of like the kind of coffee grind, or the crema is already moving towards the middle. A lot of the coffee is visible. That means that this coffee has already finished sinking. So maybe next time we could probably brew a little bit faster, pour a little bit faster. We're on track for a good timing, but sometimes when the coffee beans sink too quickly, we want to have a little bit more lift, or we could suspend it a little bit higher for more texture by pouring even slower. So we're gonna talk about that afterwards in terms of how you wanna make your adjustments. Timing wise, as always, we've hit our timing pretty nicely. It's about 1:57. I started the pour at about 30 seconds, like 1:54 to be precise. Let's just look over the mound itself and how the grinds look. You can see on the sides, let me just try to focus in a little bit. Okay, so when we look at this, you can see that it's kind of pasty on the side. There's not a lot of grinds on the side, so that's good to know. A little bit of a thin wall here, which is great. So let me just scrape the other side so you guys can see a little bit better. There we go. You can see that there's not a lot of grinds, not a lot of granulars. It's just a little bit pasty on the side, but just enough to prevent it from side channeling. You can see that in the middle that it's not super dry, no overly large clumps. So yeah, I would say that this is a pretty good brew. But we can make some adjustments based on our expectations. Let's actually taste the coffee and we'll go over what I would change and how I would make and improve on this coffee, okay? So now that we've finished brewing the coffee, let's give it a taste. I'm gonna be using my favorite origami mugs, okay? All of our equipment, all of our coffees can be purchased on tailscoffee.com. There will be a link in the description below, so please check our website out, and if you like our mugs, which I really love, I would suggest you get one as well. But yeah, let's just taste the coffees. Like I said, I expected this coffee to be kind of like my friend, representative of her, honey, sweet, just a nice and cheerful coffee, right-handed, so switch to the right side. But yeah. So right off the bat, we do get that nice sweetness. It's a little bit hot, so we still have a little bit of that char flavor to it. It's just like the chocolatier flavors just coming out through a little bit more than I would have expected, but that's just always to do with the temperature. When it's really hot, it tends to taste like that. When it cools down, it gets nice and sweet, and all the darkness dissipates. So let's quickly talk over what we saw. The color was light, the crema wasn't super thick, and so you could see the coffee really quickly, the mound sank really quickly. That just overall means that this coffee is quite on the lighter side. When we work with lighter coffees, there are kind of two ways to do with it. You can actually pour really quickly to kind of flush out that really light texture and kind of match that sinking speed. You would have to start extremely slowly to get that density. But what I actually like to do is I would have poured even slower throughout the whole thing and just kind of suspend it so that the water is kind of dripping almost at the same speed as it's entering. And then this way, your coffee just kind of just stays floating and it's just like always in the water. And if I don't agitate it much, it won't actually sink that quickly. So if we pour down the middle really slowly, it'll just float, and all the water and the density of the beans will just be absorbing inside that dripper, and it'll just kind of just form this nicer, richer texture. And we give it a quick stir and it'll sink at about the same speed as my water finishes. I'll show you guys in another video what I'm talking about, because I wanted to go over what the difference between light coffees and darker coffees are. This coffee seems to be on the lighter side, so glad we had a taste together. But yeah, I would expect that coffee could be a little bit better by having a nicer texture. Right now, this coffee is a bit thin. After about 2 minutes of talking to you guys, let's try it again, and we'll see. So the honey flavor really shows up. The honey, the orange, a little bit of that vanilla. Black tea, our friend loves black tea. She believes that all coffees should have like that black tea flavor to it. This coffee's just right on the spot. The darker flavor has dissipated. I would have loved to have a little bit more texture. It is a bit light for me. And so by either doing a 1 to 14 or 1 to 13 maybe, and pouring even slower, I can create that density without losing any flavor or changing any of the flavors. But yeah, so I would just pour slower, get that nice floating, get a nice absorption, higher density brew, and I think that would make it a little bit better. So I hope you guys learned something. I hope this shows you how I dial in my coffees and how I kind of just imagine the coffees from the beginning and have a certain expectancy from it. And then once we kind of brew it with our standard technique, we can make the necessary adjustments to it. So think about everything, even like how much water is in the kettle matters. That way it changes the pouring height and the pouring angle. So do give that a thought. But yeah, this is how I dial in my coffees. And if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, just please leave a like. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.